Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I just wanted to pop in really quick to do a quick analysis and training on EJ. EJ happens to be one of the pairs that I am focusing on and analyzing this week. I don't know if it's going to be my long-term pair, but it is at this point, right? Okay, so what I want to do is take this opportunity to show you some things, right, as it relates to re-entering. I get a lot of questions from quite a few people inside the Telegram group that ask me, well, after our alert go off on whatever the particular pair is, and we come and we can do our confirmations, everything checks out, we get in the trade, we profit. How do we get back in? How do we continue to capitalize on the trend? Outstanding question. Now, there are a few different re-entry options that's available to you, and I'm going to go over some of them, not all of them now, but I'm going to go over some of them with you that you can look for using the triple arrow system. And what I do recommend is that we let the triple arrow system guide us. Let the triple arrow system guide us. And so one of the things that I wanted to show you today, I want to take this opportunity, of course, to show you one of them. Now, obviously, we're in a downtrend. I am on the hour chart, right? We're on a downtrend on the hour chart. And of course, our alert would have come in somewhere around in this area of the MACD, okay? And we would have waited for our price to close below the 50, right? It did all of that. It pulled back on you if you would have gotten in at this point. So it would have pulled back on you a little bit. And then, of course, it dropped. You definitely got your 20 pips for sure, right? Okay, so it's important to understand that price moves in levels. And it's also important to understand that price always revisits the previous um, area of consolidation. If there's an area of consolidation, at some point it's going to revisit that area. So what I like to do is I like to use the support and resistance dots that is part of the triple arrow system because it identifies consolidation, right? It identifies areas where price struggled, where there was a stop for a period of time. I'm interested in those areas because those are the areas that I'm going to TP at, right? Um, and this can be beyond 20 pips. I do advocate for the 20. Get good at one thing first. And so my suggestion is the 20 pips. Get really good at acquiring 20 pips every time that you enter a trade, right? Get really good at that, that you can just do that automatically because I promise you, whew, it's a beautiful thing, right? So what I like to do is, okay, right here, right where we are right now, remember the three questions. Where are we? Where is price? So you want to identify what is price doing? Is three directions that price moves in, right? A lot of you that have been on my session, on my private session, you know this. Three directions price move in. It impulse, whether that's up or down. It corrects, meaning it pulls back from the impulse, and then it continues in the direction of the impulse. So the impulse and the continuation is the same move. So if it's bearish, if there's a bearish impulse, there's a bearish continuation. Now the impulse is always, always, always in the direction of the trend. And the triple arrow system tells us what the trend is on that particular time frame. So in this case, the trend is bearish. So that means our impulsive move is bearish and our continuation would be bearish. So with that being said, when we look at where we are right now, we're in a little down move going on, right? What is that? That's an impulse. Well, actually, it's a continuation. The impulse and the continuation is the same move. So if you call it an impulse, that's fine. Continuation, that's fine. As long as you know it's the same move. So when we look at this point right here, we are clearly in a continuation, right? And the next question you want to ask yourself is, well, how did we get to this continuation? Well, now you want to look at the previous activity that took place that led to this continuation. And when we look back, we see that price price was in a correction. It corrected, right? So here we go where price corrected. That move up, right? Price corrected right there, okay? Because the impulse in the correction is the opposite move. If we have a bearish impulse, we're going to have a bullish correction. That makes sense, right? Okay, so the correction took place here. After the correction, it led to what? It led to a continuation. This is how price moves all day, every day in the market. Nothing different about that. Now, after the continuation, what do you think price is going to do? It's going to correct, right? It's going to correct. So that's where we are right now. Now, the next question you want to ask yourself is, well, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? How do we get in the trade? What do we do? Well, the first thing that we're going to do is wait, because you never want to jump in after the move has already been made. You don't want to jump in the middle of the trade. That's like trying to jump on a moving train, right? Just wait, because price will meet your criteria again. It will meet your criteria again. One thing you always want to remember, you always want to know where you are in price, what price is doing right now. Knowing that will always position you to enter into the trade at the right time, right? And then, of course, we have the triple arrow and the components of the triple arrow to help guide us in that. So now that I got that out of the way, we're not going to do anything right now, right? Because the move has already been made. As a matter of fact, we have a support dot that's forming. You see the first dot right here. We have that support dot that's forming. So what that tells me is that it has reached a level in price where there may be a pullback. There may be some struggle going on. It may consolidate, right? It's going on 4 o'clock. So it's about to get into some form of consolidation before it goes into the next session. Those are possibilities as well. Okay, so nevertheless, we're not going to get into this trade right now. Remember, we're only looking for sales. So how do you get in the trade? What do you do to guide you? I have the answer for you. All right, so what we want to do is we want to look left of where we currently are for our previous resistance dots. The previous resistance dots. Remember, we sell high, we buy low. So if we sell high, we want price to be above this area, right? We want to catch it on a high and sell it down. We don't want to be down and try to sell down. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to, if you're buying low, you buy low, of course, and from the low point, price rises up. So you don't want to already be at the top of price and try to buy. That's too late. And so same thing that applies here. So what we want to do is we want to look left for our previous resistance dots where price struggled previously. And if we do that, we see right in here, we're looking at the previous pullback where it pulled back at. And it populated the dots here as well. So what we want to do is look at this area here as an area where we will sell the market back down. We will sell the market back down. Somewhere around in this area, we want to look at selling the market back down. Okay? And so from this point, when price moves back up into this zone, okay, anywhere within this box is a good selling area. And you can place an alert. You can place an alert because, see, price have already taken place. That's why, looking left is so valuable, because you have coordinates. It allows you to pinpoint certain things because it has already happened. And so what you can do is definitely, and this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to put in a sell order. You can put an alert in, and that's what I'll do. Put the alert in around this price range, and then I will come back once that alert goes off. I'm going to come back and assess what price is doing. And if once I come back, price is still under my 50, right? And my MACD is showing seller strength, then I will take that and I will take it back down. Now, remember, we have support dots right here. So if we're up in this area of the box and we take it down to these previous support dots, that is 28 pips. It's done. It's done. And so if you want, you can drop multiple positions. Just watch your leverage. And when I say drop multiple positions, I don't mean when you drop multiple positions that you have the lot size, the same lot size for each one of them. No, you determine what your lot size is going to be, and you divide the lot size amongst those positions. So that's how you maintain the leverage, and you don't over leverage your account and mess around and blow it, right? So you can do that. So you'll be in the trade for a very short period of time. You get your 20 pips. You may walk away with 60 pips. You may walk away, with 40 pips, whatever the amount of positions you want to take. You can do that. Another thing that you can do, if you want more pips, right, and you want to be in the market longer, which is perfectly okay, just understand that you may endure more pullback. Okay, and as long as your account can handle it, that's perfectly okay. Just know what you're doing. Now, this is a very, very key area right here of resistance, of support, because price is coming down. So price will meet this area. Now look at where price is now. This is our active candle in relation to this area. We've already gone down to this area. This is another reason why price is going to pull back, because I bet you all the tea in China this is at a 50 or a 61.8 on the Fibonacci. So let me just bring that up. Let me move me out of the way first. These are the things that you want to do regularly when you're analyzing where price is and you're determining where you're going to get in. You can use your alerts. Use your alerts for everything. That way you're not pigeon-toed to the computer. You're not even really worried about it because you know you're going to get your alert, right? You're not worried about it. Okay, so on the Fibonacci, we are at 61.8. 61.8. Okay, look at that. This is the 61.8 line, and it's in direct correlation to this resistance area, right? So we went down to the 61.8, which is, by the way, one of the golden areas on the Fibonacci, right? The 50 and the 61.8. And they are also reversal points as well. And so I would be expecting for this market to pull back up and to pull back up to my 50, 38, my 50 and my 38.2. I'm thinking it's going to pull back to the 38.2, and the reason being is because we have a slight consolidation here. Let's take a look. Let's even go further out. Let's go further out and see. Let me drop a line on the 58. I mean the 38, so that we can see some more potential or possible consolidation, because I think it's going to come back up to this 38 range up in this area here, but we do have support dots right here, so it will definitely go back to the 50, and it could possibly drop from there. So what we will do is put in an alert at both of these key areas. That's how you do it. Trap the market, right? Trap the market. Because right now we're looking at a strong, a possible reversal or pullback to happen at this point here. So we'll just wait and see, and that's primarily because of this consolidation that I see over here. So let's see what happens on that. But we put the alert in, right? And we come back and we reassess. So this is the 38 line that I put here. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for some consolidation. See, right in this area, we have some consolidation where price stalled. It didn't break through around in this area, and then finally it did. It pulled back up and through this area, but then it struggled again, right? It struggled to break through again. So this area has some resistance activity going on, right? Some resistance activity going on. So I like to see, sometimes you want to go back a little further just to see how often it resisted in that particular area. So yeah, so right in here, then it pulled back up, came back. So it just been hovering around this 38. So with that being said, I think that it will touch that 38 again. Where are we? I think that it will touch that 38 again. But what we're going to do is, what I'm gonna do, I suggest you do it if this is your pair, or any pair that you are working with. This is just the way that I go about analyzing and determining my re-entry. I look at my support dots, and I'm looking for consolidation. I'm looking for rejection zones. That's what I'm looking for to determine when I'm going to get back in. So at this point right here, I'll put in an alert, the same way that you do your alerts for the MACD. The only difference is it's just going to be on price, which means it'll just be on EJ. And you will put your alert at each of these key areas. So at the 50, I will put an alert in, and then also at the 38.2, at the 38.2. And in pips, the difference in pips between the two is 29 pips, okay, between the two. All right. So anyway, that's what I would do. I would look left for my previous resistance or support areas, and I will base my re-entry on that. Remember, if you're selling, you want to you want to sell from a high point of where you currently are. You don't want to sell from this point here. You want to sell from a higher point, right, so that you can sell it back down. If you're buying, it's just the opposite. You want to buy from a low point and buy it up. You don't want to already be at the high point and try to buy from that, because you don't have a lot of buying room at that point or a lot of selling room at that point. So keep that in mind. And the truth of the matter is, price may continue past the 61.8. We don't know. That's why what we do is put our alerts in, and we just wait and see what price is going to do. So I am expecting a pullback, and I'll have those alerts in at those two particular areas, and then I'll come back and assess and see what we have working. So that's my breakdown, my little analysis on EJ. Let's just see how it's playing out, how it's going to play out. So I hope that helped. I hope that helped. And I'll see you all on the next video. Have a great one. Bye-bye.